How's it going, God here? Did you ever feel depressed at some point of time? That's me playing Metroid 2. The game doesn't have a map, so I have to play like this. Curse you 52 dead-year-old devs. Metroid on a handheld? Sign me up! Metroid isn't as big as Mario or Zelda, but man, 2.84 million copies sold is a lot. This was huge for 1986, so a sequel was inevitable. Metroid 2 Return of Samus launched in late 1991 for the Game Boy. It was made by Nintendo RT1 and Intelligent Systems once again. And oh man, this is what I call a sequel, by far one of the best games on the Game Boy. Look at this box art, Samus is making a striking pose while reloading her harm cannon. It's classic. And to this day, this pose is still being used for promotional material. Seriously, I've seen it everywhere. Well, I don't have an official copy of the game, since they don't go for cheap. I could play it via the Nintendo Switch Online subscription service, there I can play Metroid 2 and so many Game Boy games. Fuck it, I'll just use an emulator. Metroid 2 takes place not long after the first game. The Space Federation, to ensure that the space pirates don't use the Metroid's power, they send a team to the planet SR-388 to exterminate the remaining Metroids. But they fail and go missing. So they send Samus to kill all the Metroids. But here's the problem, the Metroids are beginning to evolve. Now we have Alpha, Gamma, Zeta and Omega Metroids roaming around SR-388. Once small larvas, now big and chunky cockroaches. Samus's controls have been improved from Metroid 1, now Samus can aim down and she doesn't look like a chicken. The world is vastly bigger than the original Metroid. Still, the game doesn't have a map, which complicates things, but now there's much places you can go. Unfortunately, all of them are so similar that you won't notice the change between locations. Maybe you'll notice the background music, nothing else. Now for the items. Energy tanks, missile tanks, morph ball, bomb, ice beam, high jump boots, wave beam, Verisuit and my beloved screw attack returned from Metroid 1. Rest in peace, Long Beam, you were kind of useful in Metroid 1, but it was the right move to have an already Long Beam in the beginning of the game. And now we have the Spider Ball. With the Morph Ball, it lets you cling into walls and crawl them with this form. Pretty good upgrade. But when you get the high jump boots and the screw attack, it becomes practically useless, but I used it until the end, because oh my god, the high jump in this game is garbage. It just stops working for some reason, it doesn't have a limit or anything, the game just says that's enough and you fall into oblivion. The Spring Ball is an essential upgrade in Metroid games, it just feels right. This upgrade lets you jump with the Morph Ball and traverse through little tubes. There's no need for the bombs anymore, it's perfect. And we also have our fair share of new beams in Metroid 2. The Spacer Beam, my god, this beam is amazing. My entire playthrough was using this thing until the game forced me to use the Ice Beam, but we'll get into that later. The Spacer Beam lets you shoot 3 lasers in the same time. Pretty cool. The Plasma Beam is, to be honest, one of my least favorite beams, but it's interesting how it works. It shoots a single powerful laser beam. It's just one, but it packs some good energy. Now we also have research stations for energy and missiles. These are a lifesaver, if you play this game, never miss out on these. Your mission in this game is to kill all living Metroids on planet SR-388. Every single one. There's precisely 47 Metroids you have to kill. They are the only bosses in this game, there's no Ridley or Kraid here. Well, at least in the Game Boy original. They range from easy to hard to beat, like some can get intense. Beta Metroids are easy to beat, just shoot a few missiles below them and they're gone. Gamma Metroids are also nothing special, just shoot missiles and they die. Zeta Metroids are infernal, I hate them so much. They're constantly moving, shooting fireballs and you need to shoot them on their heads. And it takes some missiles to kill them, and the worst aspect of them all is that you don't know what they're doing next. They see what you're doing and if you're going to one side they follow you in less than a second. Like, give me a break. Omega Metroids are the same as Zeta Metroids, however, they are easier to kill since they're bigger and don't move much. Still, you need like 50 missiles to kill them. Before the final Metroid, you encounter an egg and the counter changes from 2 to 9, and then you start panicking and find out that you need to use the Ice Beam and get rid of the Spacer. The other 8 Metroids were just regular Metroid larvae, so to kill them you need to shoot 1 ice beam and 5 missiles, same as the original. But then you encounter Queen Metroid, the final boss of this game. This was a step up from Metroid 1 we got from a brain that does absolutely nothing to an actual intimidating boss. And she's not easy to beat, she's always moving and shooting stuff at you, but when she opens her mouth, just starts spamming missiles. There's also a way to enter her mouth while in the morph ball, but I never tried that. You beat Queen Metroid, you find the egg and the baby Metroid hatches from it, and then both Samus and the baby Metroid run away to the gunship and ta-da! You just beat Metroid 2 Return of Samus. Metroid 2 Return of Samus is surprisingly a very good game, better than the first one. I had no expectations for this game, but it surprised me and it's one of my favorite Game Boy games of all time. Well, it would be my favorite if Pokemon Red and Blue didn't exist, but whatever, that's a story for another day. But this wasn't the only time that we got Metroid 2. We first got AM2R, a remake of Metroid 2 made by the fans, and it looks astonishing. It's a couple of years old and it doesn't receive updates anymore since Nintendo was trying to sue the creators. But it looks phenomenal, the GBA graphics fit so well. And we also got the official Metroid 2 remake, Metroid Samus Returns for the Nintendo 3DS. It released in 2017 and it was made by Mercury's team, the same guys who made Metroid Dread. And it shows, the two games have so many similar elements, but that's also a game that I have to play and talk about it in the future, so wait for that. I like Metroid 2 for the Game Boy so much that I went to This World.